Hello and thanks for joining us for our mid-morning edition of ARIRANG News. I'm Mark Broom. We start with the US presidential elections. The polls have now closed in more than half the states and early results have already started to come in. For the latest, we have our Zhang on the line. Zhang, what's the current situation?
Hi, Mark. So far, 30 states have now closed their polls, and early results have been called in about 4 of them. The first wins of the day have gone to Donald Trump. Indiana and Kentucky were called in his favor, traditionally very Republican states, winning 19 electoral votes. Hillary Clinton followed up with a win in Vermont, winning her 3 electoral votes. A projected win has also been called in West Virginia to Trump. So far, that means Trump is leading 24-3 in the electoral votes, but it's still much too early to call final results. Polling today has mostly gone without a hitch. Any news of voter fraud that Trump had warned against has mostly stayed quiet. There were computer problems in a key battleground state of North Carolina, and polls were therefore kept open an hour later than scheduled, but they have since closed. There was also a shooting incident near a polling station in LA, but it's unclear whether it was related to the election itself.
OK, Zhang, and when will we be able to know who has actually won the election?
The final results should become much clearer in the next 2 to 3 hours. For the race to be called, the candidates need to win 270 electoral votes out of 538. Now, some states have more electoral votes than others, and there are several key states that could swing the race either way. One of them, for example, is Florida, which has 29 seats, and polling has just closed there. Currently, more than 70% of the votes have already been counted in the Sunshine State, but it's still too close to call. Polls have also just closed in Michigan and Pennsylvania, which are also seen as very tight races. Now, the last polls on the West Coast, such as California and Hawaii, should be in by 1 p.m. Korea time. And I'll keep you up to date with more results as the day goes on. Back to you, Mark.
Well, thank you very much, Zhang, for your reporting, and we'll be connecting to Zhang again at noon Korea time during our next newscast. Now, Korea's finance ministry says the government will work to maintain market stabilization, regardless of who wins the US presidential election. During a finance-related officials meeting earlier on this Wednesday morning, Vice Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok said, although it's a bit too early, excessive volatility in the market isn't desirable, and that the government will take action to curb volatility if need be. He added that exchange rates will be affected no matter who wins the election. Trade protectionism shown by the two candidates is seen as a potential downward risk to the global economic recovery. Over now to the latest on the abuse of power scandal here in Korea. The leaderships of the main and minor opposition parties are due to meet this morning to discuss ways to resolve the scandal that has crippled state affairs. They are expected to try and unify their stance over President Park Geun-hye's proposal to give the Prime Minister governing authority. They are also expected to urge the president once again to withdraw from the ruling party, making a fresh bid to get state affairs running. President Park said Tuesday that she will give the National Assembly the option to propose its own candidate for the post of Prime Minister. The opposition bloc, however, lashed out at the president, doubting her sincerity to resolve the scandal. The ruling Saenuri party called it a starting point to overcome the crisis. Turning now to the ongoing probe into this unprecedented abuse of power scandal. Overnight, state prosecutors questioned music video director Cha Eun-taek, who has close ties with Choi Sun-sil, for around 4 hours. He's currently being held in a jail cell. Cha was detained upon his arrival at Incheon International Airport last night. He had been staying in China since the scandal broke. Speaking to reporters at the airport, Cha said he was sorry for causing such a stir and vowed to reveal everything during the prosecutor's investigation. He also admitted to knowing former key presidential secretary An Jong-bom, but denied to answer questions over his ties to Choi Sun-sil. Now, in other news, South Korea and Japan are inching closer to forging a bilateral military intelligence sharing pact aimed at better countering North Korea's nuclear missile threats. They will hold their second round of working-level talks on the matter in Seoul on this Wednesday to discuss signing the General Security of Military Information Agreement. They came close to inking the pact 4 years ago, but the final signing was aborted due to negative public sentiment here in South Korea. However, the two sides announced they were reopening talks late last month. The first meeting was held in Tokyo last Tuesday. The pact will enable the two to formulate a more effective response to North Korea's growing threats. And that's where we're going to leave it for now. Our next bulletin is coming up at noon Korea time. So until then, goodbye.